on board. A graphic commercial released by AAA Carolinas warns of the dangers of texting while driving, but does it go too far? We're going to show you some of it, but I do want to warn you, it is graphic.
It's not even funny now. Let me just get his number.
Joining me now via Skype is Vice President of Communications for AAA Carolinas, Tom Crosby. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Crosby. This ad definitely is controversial. Some people think it goes too far. Why did you all decide to run this ad?
Well, we wanted to make an impact. Teenagers need to see the consequences of their actions, and we all do. And this particular video really has an emotional reaction, and I think it really illustrates what can happen when you text and drive.
It does, however, and I think people saw some of it, but at the end there's also the implication about people dying. And I know at least one station, Channel 9 in Charlotte, thought it was too graphic to run. Do you understand their concerns?
Well, I can understand that they may feel it's too graphic, but they also show television horror films. We see the news at night. These kids grow up playing video games with lots of violence in it. I think this is the way you catch teenagers' attention. You can't just tell them not to text and drive. You have to show them why they shouldn't text and drive.
Obviously, there must be some impetus behind this decision. You had to know it was going to be controversial. How big a problem is texting and driving in the Carolinas?
Well, it's a big problem. South Carolina was cited as one of the worst states in the nation for texting among teenagers. And we recognize that when you text, you know, you have your eyes on the text, you have your hands off the wheel, you have your mind on what the message you're sending. It's probably one of the most dangerous activities you can engage in behind the wheel. So it's a problem in the Carolinas, and it's a problem across the country.
And am I correct that where you are, if you get caught texting and driving, it's a $100 fine?
It's a fine in North Carolina. South Carolina does not have a law against it yet, despite its reputation as the worst in the nation. But there is a bill in the legislature that we hope will get passed next year. Is
a $100 fine enough? Is that enough of an incentive for teenagers not to do it, do you think?
Unfortunately, I think a monetary fine really doesn't create a deterrent, but it does, of course, let people know that you shouldn't be doing it and it's against the law. And I think that's one of the reasons we wanted to come out with this video, to really put a stamp on the fact that don't do it.
We've heard about technology, you know, things that, for example, will shut off kids' phones while they're driving. What do you think the future is going to hold? It was a long haul for a lot of folks, for example, when drunk driving laws began, and now it's almost inconceivable that there was a time not so long ago that you and I probably remember where there wasn't a lot to pay if you drank and drove. So do you think that we need and can accelerate this process?
Well, I think that what we should have is very serious penalties if there's any sort of an accident while someone's texting and driving. You know, there are about 30 states that have already enacted this. AAA is pushing it nationally. And we think that whenever you cause an accident and you've been texting and driving, there ought to be very serious penalties, including jail time. And what's going to happen is we're going to need to be able to have access to the cell phone accounts when these sort of accidents occur, so we can see whether somebody was texting when the accident occurred.
Tom Crosby, Vice President of Communications from AAA Carolinas, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Chris.